Hey everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Smart and Vinyl, where we're going to talk a little records, a little music, and a whole lot of meh. So, thanks for joining me on this episode. And yeah, I know it's been a while, and I want to be honest with you because I can feel like I can be honest with you. I didn't make a video last week because I had a really big zit, like right here on my lip, and it totally looked gross, like I had the herp or something. So I was really embarrassed. I just didn't want to look. On the mornings with Myrtle, you can see it. It's like it was a really big zit, but it went away. I'm still a little zitty, but I just think it's from stress, So just relax. Think records. I'm relaxed now, but let's get into it. So, a few things before we get into it. So I was talking with a friend slash fan slash I don't know what to call him, and we were talking shit on each other and making fun of each other, and somehow the fact that I'm part Jewish came up, and he throws at me the Two Live Jew album picture, the oi, it's so humid, and I'm like, you're bringing that shit to a diss battle with me? Really? That's like Jew Novelty Records 101. I don't even own it anymore because I got rid of it back in fucking 1997 or whatever it was, and then I show him, Kosher Club. That's what I bring to this, diss fight. And he's like, enough with the Rhino Records. And I'm like, really? Really? It's never enough with the Rhino Records. And now that just fuels the fire. So I need to put more Rhino Records on. But fortunately for him and for you, it's not Rhino Records tonight. We're going to talk about two records that have a lot in common. And this is actually influenced by next week. And every couple of years, this double feature makes the rounds in LA. But over at the Aero Theater, they're showing double feature of Warriors and Streets of Fire. And Walter Hill's going to be there. And I'm going to try to go. Santa Monica's a little far for me on a weeknight, but hopefully I can make it. So that's what we're going to talk about. First, I'm going to get into Warriors. Then I'm going to get into Streets of Fire. Real quick. Streets of Fire is one of my most favorite movies ever. I do love Warriors, not as much, but they do go hand in hand. So let's just get into it, right? Okay, so I do have Warriors, and I don't have any bottles. I was gonna clink bottles, but we don't drink beer. All I have is some Prosecco that I got from the manager's special at Ralph's. It's not very cool. So no bottles to clink, but use your imagination. So it's like clink, clink, Warriors, right? So Warriors, soundtrack to the Warriors. I'm not going to go into the whole movie, because if you haven't seen it, you're not watching this show. I don't know, but everyone's seen Warriors. But the soundtrack actually is really good. And like Cruising, the Warriors soundtrack actually is equally as good as the movie, or I guess it stands alone. So you don't actually need to really, watch the movie. Say if you've never even seen the movie, which I hope you guys have seen the movie, you can just listen to the soundtrack and it's really good. Of course, let's just get it out of the way. Of course, In the City is the best song. Of course. And that is the best known song from the Warriors soundtrack, which is In the City by Joe Walsh, or I'm sorry, Joe fucking Walsh. Okay. It was kind of bullshitty how it's Joe Walsh on here, but then the Eagles put it on their album. I'm like, anyways. But no, this soundtrack's really good because it has kind of funk and kind of a little bit of prog and a little bit of, Latin flavors, rock and roll. Let's talk about a couple interesting fun facts regarding this Warriors soundtrack. There is a cover of Nowhere to Run on here originally it was Martha Reeves and the Vandellas. That's not a very good cover. I know you think I hate all covers. Not all, but most. But it's not a very good cover. I don't know why they just couldn't get the original. Maybe the rights were too much. I don't know. Let's see. There's another song. Well, there's Theme from Warriors, right? Nowhere to Run. Then there's a song called In Havana, and it's kind of, Latin, kind of flair. Interesting fact, though, Chevy Chase, the comedian everyone hates, sings background on that song. I know. I don't know where that came from. I'm sure he pissed everyone off there, too. But anyways, Echoes in My Mind is pretty good. And then side 2, In the City, of course. Here's another fun fact. Mike Picaro, who Toto, is on quite a few of the songs on this album. He's on The Fight, which is the last song on side one. He is on In the City, and he is in the, here it is, Baseball Furies Chase song. He's on that. He plays the bass, which, you know, Toto, as much as you bitch about Toto, it's pretty good. You know, I mean, it's the skills with a Z are there. So anyways, you know, what else is on here? It's good. What is it? Brain fart. Love is a Fire. Love is a Fire on here. Interesting fact, Rouge is on here, but Desmond Child is not on here. So, you know, it goes hand in hand. It's like Desmond Child and Rouge, right? No, this is Rouge, no Desmond Child. So that's interesting. But if you want your Desmond Child, that's the last song, Last of an Ancient Breed. Now, I'm sure some of you are like, who's Desmond Child? I'm like, I'll cut you some slack on this one. But I know you've heard Desmond Child's songs that he's written before, because believe me. So let's start. He's written I Was Made for Loving You by Kiss, Joan Jett, I Hate Myself for Loving You. He needs to make up his mind, you know. He is responsible for everyone's favorite, you know, jock jams, Living on a Prayer and Shot Through the Heart, but It's Too Late, You Give Love a Bad Name, right? So he wrote those. He wrote one of my guilty pleasure favorite albums, Permanent Vacation by Aerosmith. So he did write Dude Looks Like a Lady, Angel, and What It Takes. He is the man responsible for Poison by Alice Cooper, which was like Alice's biggest hit, and Livin' La Vida Loca. Yeah, I know. He wrote Livin' La Vida Loca. I'm mind blown. I can't even pronounce it. So yeah, Desmond Child's got some fucking cred, even more than Russ Ballard. But anyways, that's another episode. But yeah, Desmond Child and Rouge is the last song on here, Last of an Ancient Breed. It's pretty good. Like I said, even if you don't want to watch the movie, which why wouldn't you? But if you just want to listen to it, it's a good album. I highly suggest getting it. But now we're getting balls deep. We're getting into the meat and potatoes of. I love Streets of Fire. Totally love Streets of Fire. Released in 1984. It says a rock and roll fable, and that's kind of what it is. And you know, as a kid, I didn't realize how much like Streets of Fire would like influence my regular life, because like me, it's a mix of the movie, but it's a mix of like 80s and 50s, like 80s style with a vintage 50s flair, you know. Kind of dark, it's kind of funny, a lot of great music, so romantic. I mean, you know, as much as I don't act like it, there is a little bit of me that's kind of like a romantic and a girl. And, you know, any girl or woman who sees this movie dreams someday that her Tom Cody will come. I thought my Tom Cody came, but no, he was just there to sell pretzels, I guess. So no Tom Cody for me, but let's talk about this album. So, where do I start? So, first off, see, I might as well stop. I'm just gonna stop this video. Anyways, Jim Steinman, who, if you don't know, wrote Bat Out of Hell. Jim Steinman is responsible for 2 songs on here, Nowhere Fast and Tonight Is What It Means to Be Young. And as soon as you hear those songs, you're like, oh, is this Meatloaf? No. Or is this Bonnie Tyler? No. They sound very Steinman-ish. But they're probably the 2 best songs on the album. And they are performed by a group called Fire Inc. And Fire Inc. really was Laurie Sargent from Face to Face and Holly Sherwood, who was a singer. And I think she did work with Jim Steinman on other stuff. They kind of put their voices together to make the voice of Ellen Aim. Ellen Aim's the fictional singer heroine in the movie, who's, you know, it's Diane Lane, but Diane Lane doesn't sing it. These 2 women sing it. So they are Fire Inc. That's what they're billed as. In the movie, Ellen Aim's band is the Attackers. The Attackers is Face to Face. You may not be familiar with Face to Face. I'm not either. I guess they're a popular Boston band. They had like 1 hit. Honestly, the first I heard of them is when I was talking shit to my friend in Boston about Jay Giles. And whenever I do that, he brings up like Face to Face. Like I'm supposed to be fucking impressed with that. I'm like, anyways. But So they're on here twice with Jim Steinman, Fires Inc. There's a song called Sorcerer, which is performed by Marilyn Martin. Now, the song is written by Stevie Nicks, which is pretty witchy into itself, but Marilyn Martin, as you know, sung duet with Phil Collins on Separate Ways, and I love Marilyn Martin's song fucking Night Moves. It's so cheesy, but I love Night Moves. So anyways, love Marilyn Martin. Deeper and Deeper by The Fix. Now I know what you're gonna say, but D, you talked all that shit about Cy Curnin on the Freddy video and you called him an asshole. I didn't really mean he was like a real asshole. I mean, I like The Fix and I like this song. Deeper and Deeper is actually a really great Fix song, and it's during the ending credits when you watch Streets of Fire. And see, this soundtrack has so much, like, you know, notable LA music scene people on here. The Blasters actually perform as like the house band in the movie, but they contribute 2 songs, One Bad Stud and Blue Shadows, which are typical great Blasters, kind of bluesy rock and roll. Side 2, which we have Tonight, What It Means to Be Young. Never Be You, which is sung by Maria McKee, another LA royalty, songwriter and performer, and that was co-written by Tom Petty. So when you hear it, sounds a little Tom Petty-ish. Don't mean to get petty, but it's a little petty-ish. Then there was a hit on this album. Yes, there was an actual hit, and that is I Can Dream About You by Dan Hartman. I like to sing it, I Can Dream About Goo, my cat, but that's why I don't have a boyfriend or a life, But anyways, no, I Can Dream About You went to top 10 in 1984. It's written and performed by Dan Hartman, but in the movie it's lip synced by another band in there called the Sorrells. Which, fun fact, comedian Robert Townsend is one of the members of the Sorrells in here. So, the Dan Hartman version what was released. So anyways, that was a hit. Ry Cooder's on here. He does a song called Hold That Snake, and then it ends with the Blasters again. I can live without never seeing the Warriors again. Streets of Fire is so fucking great. Really. Look, my video is going on 13 minutes because this is such a great movie and such a great soundtrack. Like, I know so many people I've turned on to this because, the movie didn't do great when it came out in the theater. It did terribly. But it kind of got this cult following, once it went on to VHS. And I think a lot of it has to do with the soundtrack. Because if you have a great soundtrack, your movie can be total shit and it doesn't matter. Both these records don't have any frills. The inner sleeve is just lyrics. And I have some pictures from the movie. They're both put out by A&M. Is this A&M? I should take that back. I think so. I know Warriors is A&M. Both no frills records, no posters, anything like that. This one's pretty common because, like I said, it sold a lot. Not so much. I don't see it all that often. But pick up both, especially this one. But then this one. And if you've never seen Streets of Fire, watch it and let me know. Really. So it has Diane Lane, Michael, I can never say, Pereira, who was in Eddie and the Cruisers, and Rick Moranis is in Streets of Fire. And it's like the only role where Rick Moranis is an asshole. I know, you're like, Rick Moranis is an asshole? Yes, in this movie, he's a good asshole. He's like a twerp, dork asshole. Who else is in here? Willem Dafoe's in here as the bad guy, and he's really good. Lee Ving is in here, I know. Like I said, the Blasters. The chick who's also in Warriors, because it's the same. Oh, actually, both the chicks from the Warriors are in here, too. Same director. Who else is in this movie? It's just amazing. So anyways, enough with my rant. Thanks for watching. Like I always say, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Please share. And that's it. Leave any comments, leave any requests, leave any bad jokes. Don't try to come diss me if you're not even going to throw down something good, okay? Because you know what? I will always outdiss you, and I will always out-record you. So, from me to you, from Streets of Fire to you, from Warriors to you, see you next time on the next episode of Smart and Vinyl.